Welcome to the Awakening Podcast, where we have truth tellers and not whistleblowers, where we have facts and not conspiracy theorists, the podcast with solutions. You'll find all our episodes on awakeningpodcast.org. We're also on BitChute and YouTube, so be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and share with your friends. This week, we're back again with Hartmut Schumacker because there was a demonstration in Berlin today, and he's got the latest.
Thank you. Hello, Roy. My pleasure again to be on your podcast. Yes, today there was a very interesting, there passed a very interesting law here in Germany. We had a renewal of the infection protection law. And interesting is normally, for example, it takes weeks or months to get a law so that it is valid. Yeah. And today they made one law in one day. So they discuss the law in the parliament. They vote for the law, whether it's accepted or not. They brought it to. They also got the approval from the Federal Council in Germany. Then it was signed by the President of Germany and was published in the parliament, paper or newspaper, parliament documents. Yeah.
Is that the same like in Ireland when they bring up a bill that you actually get to see who has signed it? Because in Ireland they've done some stupid stuff. So is the opposition party actually voting against this, or are they all on board?
It's very interesting. There were 65-9 votes. 415 votes agreed on the bill. 236 said no, and 8 votes they made no decision. 8 votes they made no decisions, and so the votes were more than the leading parties. So it's and we asked here. We have here a very interesting. We have here a very interesting interview with a parliamentarian who is Hans-Jörg Müller from the Alternative for Germany, which is which they call a right-wing party. And he said very interesting things about the people in our parliament. He said, first of all, the most people in the parliament don't have learned a good job. So the problem is they are very fixed on their money, on their outcome, and on their retirement. So if they don't vote in the right direction, they will lose their job maybe, and then they don't have nothing because they haven't learned any good real job. This was what he said. And then he said as well that more than the half people in the German parliament are really, well, I have to be careful, are really believe in what they do. Let's say it this way. They believe that there's a climate change. They believe that the coronavirus is a killer virus. And they believe that they would do something very good, which is, if someone has common sense and can understand the facts, then you would understand it. But you see, we in Germany have parliamentarians who don't understand this situation right now. And the demonstration here in Germany, it was like this, that the police has stopped the demonstrators in an early time so that they can't come to the Reichstag.
And how many were there? Because I actually saw pictures of
thousands.
it. Yeah,
There was
a lot there, yeah.
There were a couple of thousand people, but I don't have the figure. But what was very scary was since 2008, the first time Berlin has used water guns. Is that correct?
Water cannons, yeah, I saw that.
Water cannons, yeah. And in Germany, there was nearly no demonstration in which a city used 5 water cannons. Yeah, and this time they I saw that they used 2, but they had 3. They had prepared 5. And the interesting thing is, there were 40 people injured. This was said by someone who by someone from not a nurse. What's the word of a human nurse?
Just a medical practitioner.
Medical practitioner. Thank you, medical practitioner. From medical practitioner who worked directly at the front, and he said there were 40 injured people, 7 heavily injured, which is nearly insane because it was a peaceful demonstration.
And was this from the water pressure or from the police batting in them?
This is what they didn't say.
Okay.
But the interesting thing is, he said that the police threatened him to put in custody if he would progress helping people. This is a new dimension. Yeah, this is a really and from the numbers, it was not like on the 1st of August. Yeah. Oh, 29th of August. It was quite a normal demonstration. Also, the figure was not so high. Yeah, but they wanted to say, it looks like that the government of the city wanted to make a statement. Yeah, and the law has passed. So well, now we have, as the law has passed, we have to be very careful what we say on this channel. So I make no comparison, but we have a déjà vu in Germany. Let's say it this way. Yeah, we have a big déjà vu, and now the government is in the position to make orders without any discussion in the parliament. Yeah, for example, they can close the economy, they can close the shop, they can all the sanctions, all the measure, all the restrictions which are used in the fight against COVID-19 can be done like they want to. If they want to, they can come with the military and with the police and with the healthcare directly in your house without any document from the court. So we had this already. Yeah. And one, it's very interesting, one sir in parliament, his name, let me check, I will tell you, I have him. Georg Nüßlein, vice CFO of the, I don't know the word, fraction, which is, said that the target of this infection protection law was the forced vaccination. Yeah, so wonderful. And this was live today. Yeah. So we are not in a situation like Denmark or like Portugal, where the measurements or where the restrictions concerning COVID-19 are stopped.
I was watching that today. I think it took them 9 days where they were out with their pots and pans banging around Parliament, and it eventually worked. But it's nice to see a country actually achieving that. It just shows there is hope that something can be overturned.
Yeah, and in Portugal as well, because there was a court, and the court understood that the PCR test is not valid for the measure for the test of viruses, and so the restrictions are gone.
And
in
wasn't there a
Argentina.
case of some solicitors that are making a big case? Have you any update on that? What they're doing in Germany? There was a lot of legal representatives that were actually quite, taking to court the whole thing.
Yes, they are going to present. My information is that they want to bring it to court next week in the US, and that they want to bring to court Mr. Drosten, the virologist of the Charité in Berlin, and Mr. Wheeler, who is the CEO of the German CDC, because of betrayal. Yeah, because they say these are the people in the public. They have made recommendations for the government. They have lied. They can prove that they have lied, and they are well. The lawsuit will be open against them in the U.S. And we are talking about a lawsuit with a value of billions of dollars.
And is it international lawsuit? Because obviously they don't want to go to the German court, because I mean every court system is corrupt, so that's why they're going via the USA.
Yes. No, this is a lawsuit worldwide in every country in which the PCR test was used, which was invented in question mark by Mr. Drosten or Dr. Drosten. I don't know. There are many strange things concerning his PhD. The situation is this: they want to bring it to an American court because the USA used the PCR test, and then they have to public this lawsuit in all countries in the world, so that everyone in the world has the possibility to participate in this lawsuit against these against the two persons. Yeah, and then by the lawsuit, and I think they have to fly to the US and they have to talk, then many other people will be involved.
Do we know the time frame of this? Is this something that the courts will kick down the road? Because we don't have much time with what's going on, especially like, in Liverpool and other places around the world where they're basically forcing the vaccines. Do we have any idea how long this should take?
They wanted to establish the vaccination camps until the 15th of December. And they are already asking doctors whether they are willing to do the vaccinations. Yeah. And this is the situation in Germany. And it's insane. Yeah, you have developed someone has developed a vaccination against the virus which was never separated, and there's no proof that the virus exists, and they don't know the virus at all.
Exactly. Plus, they're saying, even if you believe the statistics that they're saying, but they're saying there's a 99.998% recovery with most people. So why would you even inject yourself with anything, even if it was 90% or whatever percentage that they're telling you? It doesn't make sense.
Well, in Germany we are more modern. We establish an app which will give information about the side effects. So, for example, if you have side effects, this app will recognize the side effects so that they can make the next time a better one.
Yeah, but the problem is, and what I've seen in a lot of countries is the pharmaceuticals, especially Pfizer's, they're not going to be liable for any side effects. It's actually the taxpayers going to be liable, which in turn makes all more strain on each economy.
I would love to know the name of the executive board member of Pfizer who has sold 62% or 60% of.
Yeah, I know that. I saw that. Yeah. But what I found was strange is that he actually sold that before they kind of announced it, which is strange because it's going to go through the roof, the stock market. There's something strange going on there.
Yeah. Yeah, you put it on an option. Option means you pay, you put it in option in August, and you will sell it on in November or December. So by this option he has circumvent the internal trade.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but on the other hand, he knew exactly the date when he has to sell. This is as I said, very interesting. And now we have the problems that we are facing with this law, which gives the government in Germany the authority to do well, yeah, to make the forced vaccination, to make the forced PCR test, to make it possible that only if you travel, you have to you have to get a vaccination. Otherwise, you can't travel, or
I've
otherwise people will
seen
not come back.
on the news today in Ireland that they're saying, I mean, I knew that was going to happen, basically, that you won't get your social welfare unless you get your vaccination as well. So they're going to hit people in the pocket and just force them to do it. And eventually somebody will have it. They'll just kind of, the people that don't have it, they'll stick out like sore thumbs and they'll have the public attacking them.
Yes, and as we said already by Rainer Füllmich, the lawyer, his colleague said in Australia there is a forced vaccination. If you don't accept this vaccination, you have to pay a penalty of $60,000, or you will have to go to jail. And in Poland, there's a forced vaccination as well. So it's and our commissioner leader of the European Union, Ursula von der Leyen, has the brilliant idea to establish a health emergency act so that the European Union can work within the countries if there's something, so that they get the power. This is the situation in Germany, and as I said, it's for me it's a very sad day, because also concerning the demonstrators, which are really heroes, and if a medical practitioner is says that 7 people are hurt heavily, this is very tough. This is not only a broken nose, and for nothing.
Well, hopefully it'll wake up a lot more, and a lot more now will, do go the next few days to actually hopefully maybe replicate what Denmark has been doing and put them, ignorant politicians in their place.
The situation is we have no right anymore for demonstrations. In Germany, you are not allowed to demonstrate anymore. This is and today a parliament member who had a medical document that he is not allowed to wear a mask, a parliament member, the police stopped him and arrested him because they said there is no reason why you have what kind of illness you have, why you are not allowed to wear a mask, and for this reason we believe that this medical document is a fake, and they put him in custody.
Whoa.
A parliament member of Berlin, of the German government, and this is
He probably voted against the bill that was passed, and that's the reason.
Oh, I think I don't know whether I think the European Union and many other countries have used this Dominion software. I must look whether Germany used the Dominion software as well. But I guess now, that's very interesting. The next election in Germany, 2021, shall be a post election. So it shall be a mailed election. Yes, and I think we will use the Dominion software. And very interesting is Dominion is also involved in COVID-19 tests. Very interesting.
Yeah. And
So
you had some updates on the American situation as well, yeah, regarding Biden's campaign manager.
yes, Biden, for example, let's start with Biden. Biden, it is said that Biden has stolen money from a cancer foundation first. Then the Biden election manager in Texas would was put in custody because of election fraud, and the mafia boss in Philadelphia said that he participated in this election fraud, and that he has paid his employees $1,000 cash per hour for signing um, the election ballots. Yeah, this is very interesting, and he has yeah, and he has I think he has one Michigan, but let me check. Uh, Trump has won something. I don't know which country, but he won something. One country.
So they've overturned what vote they had, yes? Yeah. So
Yes,
it's just a
yes.
matter of time, really, because I mean, we've all
It's a
seen
matter of
the
time. It's a
support and
matter of
everything.
time.
But my fear is that because they've already told people, hey, this guy, especially all the media and the social media, hey, your guy has won, Biden has won. And when you take that away from him, there's going to be probably a revolution in America because of the uproar.
Here. This is his tweet at the 18th November 2020. In Detroit, there are far more votes than people. Nothing can be done to cure that giant scam. I win Michigan. Yeah. So the only one thing I have also found is a video from yeah, there it is, a video from the ex-CIA official Robert Steele, who said that the National Security Agency has watched the illegal the illegal business of the Wall Street and the deep state for the last 15 years. And they found out that $100 trillion were laundered for war business, children and women traffic, and drug business. And that the CIA was very deep involved in these businesses, because these kind of business is the business of the Wall Street, of the deep state. And they have everything recorded, they know everyone. And he said that they will have them at the balls, and he has and that they have only one decision: to make the deal or to die. Yeah. Well, when I listened to this, in my opinion, I had one positive aspect and one negative aspect, because it's very great that everything is known, and that they can negotiate with them, with the deep state, with a very strong hand. But the problem is, I don't know the deal. And a deal, in my opinion, means coexistence. Yeah. So and the deep state is normally, let's say it this way, I believe that the roots of the deep states are Europe. So, and if they want to make a deal with the deep states, that means a coexistence. You give me the space to do my things, and I give you the space to do your things. And if the roots are in Europe, so they will get the space to do their things. So I don't know. This was the first thought. It's only a thought. I don't know. That Trump will not rescue Europe.
My thoughts on all of this is a lot of people are living in hope of Trump being the savior. And yeah, by all means, from what we have seen, what he has done, no wars, signing documents about the child trafficking and everything, a lot of the stuff definitely looks good. But if you look at who he was surrounded by, Fauci for 4 years, a lot of the things weren't adding up. And is it a case of two cabals and one is passing ownership over to the other? And now it might be like a dual partnership and society suffers. It doesn't look like we've got this QAnon and everything that's going to be saved. I mean, it's not adding up. I mean, if you follow that, sometimes you think you can feel positivity and you think it's all going to come right. And I think it's down to the individual that can make the change. And it's because we've all been shafted. And I don't think any of the parties are the ones that are helping us. It's the people can make the change.
Yes, in my opinion, it's the same. It's we the people have to make the change, because when he started, when he in the first election, he said America first, and this is what he's doing. He is rescuing America. Yeah, and this is okay. Yeah. On the other hand, I have a little hope, because Germany and France have become, okay, now I have to be careful, but I don't care. No, I don't care. The pawns of China. Yeah. And Germany, and the Russians said, for example, that Navalny was not poisoned when he entered the plane. So they believe, or they know, that he was poisoned in the plane, and it was a German plane. Yeah. So Germany, who has lost the Second World War, has now the anger of the Russians. Yeah, because the Russians said directly, this kind of friends, if you have this kind of friends, you don't need an enemy anymore. This is their statement about Germany. And on the other hand, they did the congratulation to Biden. And if Trump is still in power, he also betrayed him in a specific way. So Germany has an enemy, US and Russia, and this is something what they will never accept, these both countries. And this is my hope, that they say, who are you?
Yeah. I think that's an important thing as well, like, because I see a lot of the countries went out congratulating Biden, but Putin didn't, and the Mexican leader didn't either, and there's a few others. So I think they're kind of showing which side they're on. Whether it's, hopefully we've got some good boys out there, but it doesn't look like that. But even if you do look at it that way, they're not basing their decision to congratulate him based on the media.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And one short thing, Klaus Schwab, the CEO of the Great Reset, the CEO of the World Economic Forum, he has also announced in July that there is a very big threat on internet terror, which can lead to no electricity, etc. So it looks like that they already have something in mind to fear us again. Yeah. And then, for example, what also very interesting is because he has established a young global leader group, because Klaus Schwab is the old CEO, and then the youngglobal-leaders.org. Yeah, you can find all the members of this group, and this is, for example, Alexander Soros, Mark Zuckerberg, David the Rothschild, Megan Rapines, Nico Rosberg, yeah, Formula One driver. Then Then the lady of Mr. Clooney, yeah, Amal Clooney, Emmanuel Macron, yeah, Maria Bartiromo, and his Crown Prince Håkon of Norway and Crown Princess Mette-Marit of Norway, and Jens Spahn, the German health minister.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very interesting to see who the people are.
No, I think
Yeah.
it's good for people because a lot of the times people think that a lot of these musicians and a lot of these actors, they just got it because of skill. But a lot of the times they got to the positions that they're in because they're connected and they all stick together. So you can see the bad boys, it all connects, always connects. So it's good to see that because then you can say, okay, now you know who's bad. Even more people, it's been
Yeah,
exposed.
yeah, and this is very important to know. And I still believe that there is a good power which will not give these entities. I will not call. I don't talk them. I don't call them humans anymore because if you're a human being, you have a soul. These entities will not have the power to do this. I really believe this because there are so many people who don't want to have it.
Exactly.
And
No, they're
everyone is
basically
waiting.
our freedom is gone. You know, we're all being abused. I mean, I can't even Poland, I can't walk out without wearing the mask. And I mean, I constantly do not want to comply. You know, I just let it on my chin or whatever. But if you don't, they can fine you 30,000, they can arrest you. And yeah, you can be as vocal as you want and you can claim whatever right saying that. And unfortunately, that'll just get you locked up. So you have to kind of use your brain at times and, comply and just, put your head together and just have a strategy and maybe just follow the Danes and follow Portugal. Get your pots and pans out and start, going outside. I reckon instead of going outside the parliament, go outside the houses of the politicians because when you see them voting, it's all on record. And when you see them putting in a vote that is totally wrong and not for the benefit of mankind, then you should actually annoy them and stand outside their house banging pots and pans because there's no way the police can actually stop that from every single location. They can block it if you go to the main parliament, but not outside every single politician's houses. So it's probably another strategy to think about.
Yeah, and the situation is, for example, here in Germany, this infection protection law. Yeah, it is based on a PCR test. Yeah, and interesting to note is, for example, if you have 100,000 inhabitants and 50 cases, in that moment you can have a lockdown. And normally, 1 year ago, 100,000 inhabitants and 50 cases, this was a very seldom illness. Yeah, and the PCR test is not valid for doing for testing virus. So all this law based on non-scientific proof data and on a betrayal, and so it's completely nonsense. Yeah. But the problem is the police and the military, because their sticks and their guns are real.
Exactly. Well, I think that's what I want is more of them to wake out, have the private conversations with your fellow police officers and fellow military. Because if you think you're being a good boy, water cannoning peaceful protesters in Berlin and elsewhere around the world, tomorrow it'll be you in that line of fire because they're not going to keep you as employees because you're only guinea pigs, you're pawns, and you want to start realizing that you're going to be your mothers are going to be cannoned, your children are going to be cannoned, they're going to be injected, they're going to be face the consequences of these toxins that they're going to inject you in. And if you cannot understand that, you need to actually maybe go back to school and start studying because
This
you're
is
not going to be top of the pile.
No, this is the situation. There are many policemen in Germany who understand the situation, but they also don't want to lose the job, of course. But these are people with experience, of course, and in this kind of demonstrations, they only work with a very young policeman, a policewoman, who are going to school or left school, yeah, and we don't know what they talked to them, what they told them. The situation is the policemen, in my belief, they don't see the demonstrators as human beings. They see them as cattle, which has to be directed in specific direction, to go this street, to go that street. Yeah, it's like leading sheep or cows through the city.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it's that around the world. So, yeah, we need to, like it's them that need to be woke up, because people, they're the only thing that are stopping everything from stopping. Because if you weren't afraid of getting a fine or getting pepper sprayed or getting water cannoned or shot, there's no way you would comply.
Yeah, but the situation is, it shows, yeah, and as I said, it takes months to make one to make one it takes months to take one law, yeah, to pass one bill, and now they pass it on one day, so you can see how they are with their back at the wall, but now they think they are free to do what they want to do, and it's very interesting, and it will become very interesting what will happen next. Yeah,
Exactly. So I think
because
we need to get you back next week, Hartmut, and find out what's going on, because you're really keeping your finger to the pulse. Because I believe Germany is at the center of Europe, because they're one of the strongest economies, and for sure, whatever happens there is going to roll out. So people, knowledge is power, and the more we're aware of what's going on, the better. So I thank you for your knowledge again this week.
my pleasure, and I'm looking forward to our next week. Thank you so much, and have a nice evening,
Thank
and
you.
God bless you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So that's all for the Awakening Podcast. You'll find all our episodes on awakeningpodcast.org. As I mentioned at the start, we're on BitTube and YouTube, and be sure to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and share with your friends. Until next week, take care.